Jakarta is a complex city, very, very wealthy, and conglomeration of all of the pool of money, people who have come into the city with dreams and hopes, and many have the dreams and hopes of the multinationals, of the large corporations, and many are also here with the hopes and dreams of those who are so poor from the rural area, seeking for a slice of the dream and a better life. For many of our patients, they arrive with a child in their arms who is seeking treatment, and there they're seeking a slice of hope from the medical world that could save their children. Indonesians have an incredible quality of resilience. And with that resilience also come acceptance of the fate in their lives. While this is good, this also means that they accept their fate and not fight against and ask for their rights. If we look at the traffic in Jakarta, people laugh, they make joke about it. They accept that. And while they joke about it, it also means that they don't fight for change. They are survivors. They make their own path in life, irrespective of what kind of thing that the government is doing or not doing. Many people come to Jakarta in the search of a better life. I think most of the people who come to Jakarta are in search of a bigger dream, especially from the rural areas. For our patients and their families, they come in search of cure for their children. Because in a rural area, healthcare for life-threatening illnesses like cancer or even HIV are not available. And this is the situation in Indonesia today. If people wanted cure and curative treatment for cancer, there are only possibly 2 or 3 centers in Indonesia that can provide that. Jakarta becomes the metropolis for people in search of better income, better lives, but also in search of cure for their dying or for their very sick. So what you see for people like our patients and their families when they come to Jakarta is first the shock of a bigger city when they come from the rural area. The way they need to navigate the health system, because that's another shock. They don't even know how. They have to wait for people to help them. And that's the reality of about 50 to 60% of Rachel House children. Families who have come in with children in their arms who are desperately sick and with treatment that is not available in their hometown. We often ask ourselves, what is the reality for these families? Because, as you know, Indonesia is a conglomeration of many cultures and therefore many languages. And so many actually arrive in Jakarta often without the language, a common language to speak to even the healthcare workers. And the healthcare workers don't have a common language to even speak to the families. That's language barrier. Then there is a culture barrier. Not even just the culture of the rural people and the city people, but just the healthcare. And people arriving in Jakarta, shocked by the city, and then arriving into a healthcare system that they have very little understanding of. And a healthcare system that basically have very little time to explain to them what's actually happening to their children. We have had so many parents coming and being referred to Rachel House with their children at the end stage of their terminal illness like cancer, often not even understanding that their child has cancer, and being referred to us totally stunned and not understanding what palliative care is, and coming with questions like, does that mean that our child can no longer get treatment, that our child is no longer able to see the doctor who referred the patient to us? Anyone who received news of a life-threatening or life-limiting illness is a shock. But when you're poor, when you don't have the access to care, when you don't even know where to begin, what to do, that adds on an entire layer of complexities. So poor and poverty is often a word that we use very lightly. In the lives of our patients, poverty means not having the transportation money to reach an access hospital, to pick up medication, not being able to take my child to the hospital when I see that she's suffering and she can't breathe, not knowing who to ask, who to go to, what to do when I think that her fever is not normal and she's beginning to have seizure. And even when she has seizure, I don't know if I have enough money to get her to the hospital. So poverty in the situation of someone living and diagnosed with life-limiting illness has a completely different flavor and consequence to people who have access to money. For many of our children, they live in a densely populated community where everyone lives on top of one another, access to clean water is not available, and they in fact have to spend the very little money that they earn every day just to buy clean water. And they live in houses where there are no windows because they're living right next to each other. And even if they were to open their doors for outside air to come in, it's basically smoky air because it's pollution or people smoking outside their doors. So for many of our patients where they live with pneumonia and difficulty in breathing, living in this tight corridor where there's no clean air means that they have very little chance to actually for their lungs to heal. And eventually they will most likely have to live with oxygen most of their lives. What pushed me to start Rachel House initially was the death of my friend Rachel. Rachel Clayton, when she was diagnosed with cancer, had all of the blessings in terms of wealth. So she had access to every single care that money could buy. And at the time after she died, I was wondering if people had no money, what kind of life would they have when they have been diagnosed with cancer and life-threatening illness. Rachel House was registered in 2006. The intent at that time was for us to build a 60-bed hospice for children at the end of their life living with cancer and HIV. And I wanted to actually build a place to be able to look after these children who were, in my mind, abandoned. But as we went along in our journey of looking for these children with HIV, we couldn't find them. We found that a lot of time in 2006, 2007, these children, when they were diagnosed with HIV or their parents were diagnosed with HIV, they disappeared from the system. And that either their handphones were not actually paid for, or the subscription went dead and the doctors did not know how to find them. So initially when Rachel House was established, we ended up basically working with the oncology side of the hospitals. Because they were the people who were keen to learn about palliative care and how they could provide better care for children living with cancer, especially when treatment was no longer working. The greatest challenge our nurses face is when they go into the hospital to actually help our patients, is to find people of similar heart and language. Because in the health system, health professionals are trained to save lives, not to ensure that the symptoms are treated. So that's the biggest challenge that we have, to actually convince and coax people in the health system to understand that pain can be treated and in fact should be treated, because optimal quality of life is what we are fighting for, that patients may not be cured and may no longer be in the curative treatment process, but they don't need to live in pain. Some of the biggest challenges our patients face in the system is the fact that they come from the poorest setting and they don't feel like they have a right to advocate, to fight for a better treatment. And in fact, in Indonesian culture, there is this, what we call Pasrah, which is, this is my fate. And that's, I think, the biggest block to fighting and to asking for what their child actually deserves. If we didn't exist, these parents would have witnessed the greatest suffering of a person's soul right to the end of the child's life. And that's why palliative care is so important, because even when curative treatment is no longer available, we hope at least that the child is not left to live her final hours in pain, so that the memory of that suffering will continue to live and to haunt the parent's mind. No one has explained to them what palliative care is. No one has explained to them the state and the illness of their child. And when they come into our hands, often we know that they have only a few days left. Conversation of the broken dreams of the last stages of their child's lives have to be done within those next few days that this child is in our hands. If we do what we do well, which is to actually see palliative care in every point of health system, from the primary care to the secondary and tertiary level, then what it means is everyone throughout Indonesia who needs pain and symptom management, palliative care, have access to that. However, we know that the entire health system in Indonesia is under pressure. We don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough nurses. So what we're trying to do is to train community health workers and people in the community to actually care for one another. That's a basic layer. And then to train enough nurses to basically be able to do a lot of the primary initial pain and symptom management in the community. What we've been doing is in Jakarta, but we know the rest of Indonesia needs this. So in future, what we're trying to do is to actually train enough people, enough nurses to go out into the community in a rural area to do the same thing. Whether or not they call themselves Rachel House or any other name, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that everyone throughout Indonesia who are suffering from symptoms that can be alleviated, pain and suffering can be alleviated, have access to that. What is important for us is to realize that while we may not have enough doctors, while we may not have enough nurses, we have enough heart and capacity to actually help people live well, even if curative treatment is no longer available and no longer possible to cure them.